Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is Tracy Held. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Melbourne in Australia. Today I'm going to share a project with you which uses one of the stamp sets from Sale-A-Bration. So of course Sale-A-Bration is coming up from the 5th of January. This year there's some really cute stamp sets that are available in Sale-A-Bration, but remember that Sale-A-Bration is only for 2 months this year, so it's only for January and February. So one of the stamp sets that's in Sale-A-Bration, which you're going to be seeing a lot of, is this really cute Darling Donkey stamp set. And this is the stamp set that I'm using today. If you want to make my cards, you're going to need to have the following items and a whole lot of other stuff which you will have in your craft room anyway. The first one is the rainbow glimmer paper. Now this paper is beautiful. It's got that really nice sparkle and a variety of colors. The colors that are in here are Bermuda Bay, Blackberry Bliss, Granny Apple Green, Magenta Madness and Mango Melody. And you can see as they change color, you can get some different colors going through there, so it doesn't have to stick to just those colors. The other thing that you're going to need is your playful alphabet dies. This gives you numbers and letters and hashtags and exclamation marks and things. So everything that you need there to make whatever words you want. And the balloon duet punch. If you purchase those 3 items, you can choose the Darling Donkeys as your Sale-A-Bration free stamp set, and then the sky's the limit to what cards you can make. The first card that I came up with, which I thought was really cute, is a Welcome 2021 card. This was going to be the card for my video, and then I realized that seeing that you can only order the Sale-A-Bration awards from the 5th of January, by the time you're ready to order, you won't need to make this card. So we're going to amend that one. The other one that I did then is a happy birthday card. Now, I've realized that if I'm doing the card portrait, I can fit 4 balloons across. If I'm doing it landscape, then 5 works. Here I put them over to the side so that it looks like he's floating across. But if you really wanted to squish, you could probably fit a 6th one up there, but I would probably stick with 5. So use whatever words you can come up with that are 4 or 5 letters long. So you can have dear, you can have kind, you can have hope. Do you need a number card? So a birthday, 21st, 4 balloons, 21, ST, or you could just have the 21. Pick whatever number you want for your younger kids. You can make balloons and donkeys with whatever. So really versatile. This is all that you're going to need. And then, like I said, the sentiments, whatever you have in your stamp stash, you'll be able to use. I'm sure that we've all got lots and lots of stuff that we can use. What I've decided to do today is look a little ahead into the future, and the card that I'm going to do is going to be a Valentine's card. So let's get started. The first thing that I'm going to do is get that sort of sky looking background. Now I'm using my balmy blue ink pad and one of the new blending brushes. So what I'm going to do is what you're told never to do when you're blending is once I've dipped my brush into the ink, I'm going straight onto the paper. Alright, so you're always told don't do that because then you get blotches and you don't get that smooth effect. And that's exactly what I'm going for. I want it to look a bit blotchy so that it gives that kind of scar formation and, you know, make it look a little bit cloudy and blotchy. Let's just see if I can get a bit more ink. on there. So ordinarily you would start off and then move on so that you get it nice and smooth. I'm putting ink on and going straight onto my card so that I've got that blotchy kind of a look. And I don't want it too much. I want a bit of white showing through because we want it to look like the balloons are floating in the sky. So that I can punch the balloons, I'm going to cut my glimmer paper, and because it's for Valentine's Day, I want to go with this sort of reddy pinky bit over there. So with my balloon punch, I'm punching out 4 balloons. Now, what I tend to do is exactly this, so I'm having it that I'm punching the big balloon over to the side. The small one is off the paper completely. And so I'm doing it this way because I don't want the small balloons punched out yet. Well, I don't want them out of this paper at all. So by doing it like this, I'm not getting any of the punched balloons. If I was going from the other side, I would be punching the small ones every time as I go along. So 4 of those. And I've got a piece of cardstock. This one I've embossed with the Subtles embossing folder. Let's bring my other ones back in here. So that one I used the Old World paper, and this one I've used the hammered metal. Whatever you like, it's to give a little bit of texture to those balloons. So there I'm using the small ones and doing the same thing. I'm punching from the side that the big balloon's going to punch now some of the sort of scrappy bits, but that's okay. Now, I'm going to stick my white balloon onto my glimmer paper. I'm sticking them that sort of the neck of the balloons kind of go into each other, so towards the bottom of the glimmer paper, but if you prefer it higher up, then you can stick it higher up. And using my playful alphabet dies, I've cut out the word love. Okay, it's for Valentine's Day, so we're having love on it. And trying to be very light-handed with the glue, I'm going to stick the letters onto the balloons. Now you need some twine or very thin ribbon, whatever you've got in your stash that you're going to use for the string of the balloons. I'm using the twine from the Well Suited twine pack, which is also in the new mini catalogue. And I've just taken the grey, it comes in grey and navy, just cut some strips. And what I do is I'm putting a little dab of glue just at sort of the bottom of the balloon over there. That's going to hold that twine in place. And then we want some dimensionals. So I'm putting the twine that it's in the glue, and I'm going to put a dimensional on top of it. So that's going to hold my twine in place, but I'm also going to use that to stick the balloon onto my card. We can put the balloons aside for the moment and let them dry. Then we're going to do the donkey. Now, you've got the 3 different donkeys in here. For my Valentine's card, I'm going to use this one with the rose in his mouth because, hey, we always have to have roses for Valentine's Day. Right, so with my Memento ink, we're going to stamp him. And did you notice that my donkeys are sparkly? Because sparkly makes everything better. So to get our donkeys sparkly, what I'm doing is I like to work on an acrylic block. You can work on the inside of your ink pad if you prefer, but I will end up making everything sparkly, and not everything has to be sparkly. Just putting a drop of my crumb cake re-inker, and then my Wink of Stella pen. Now go easy here because this does sometimes come out a bit quickly, but you're just giving it a squeeze and a couple of drops of the Wink of Stella. Mix it all together and then use that to color in your donkey. It doesn't have to be colored in very fancy or very shaded. It's just colored in. And I would suggest that if you're going to do this, you do it for a few donkeys, because just a drop of ink and a drop of Wink of Stella will give you quite a lot of ink to color with, so you may as well use it all up and get lots of sparkly donkeys. Now once that's dried, if you want to shade it a bit, you could kind of make the top of his ears a little bit darker, or going around the side of his body here can be a bit darker. We can make the hooves a little bit darker. And then just like you would do with your ink or your blender pens, just rub it off on a scrap of paper and your Wink of Stella is clean. Then I'm taking my dark shaded spruce blender pen and I'm colouring in the stem and the leaf. And I've got my light real red marker and I'm going to colour in the rose. There we go. And then you're going to let him dry. And once he's dry, we're going to fussy cut him. I know, not great fussy cutting, but it's not that much and it's worth the effect. Now it's time to assemble the card. For this card base, I've used Melon Mambo. This one here, although I was using the yellows, you can see this is where the colours sort of streaked between the pink and the yellow. So where I've got that sort of orangey overlap, I've used the terracotta tile. That was where I was saying that although it's got those colours in it, the colours can move. This one, I think he's actually supposed to be kicking up his heels that way. But if you tilt him up, it looks like he's jumping up into the sky. So he was floating in the sky. This one is very definitely standing. So I'm going to give him a little bit of grass to stand on. So I've got a piece of Pear Pizzazz cardstock, which is the same width as my base card. And I'm just going to tear it, trying to get it a little bit jaggedy so that it looks kind of uneven ground. We maybe didn't want that. Okay, that'll do. Let's stick that on here so that this donkey has got something to stand on. And I'm going to stick that onto my card base. So this time we're doing a portrait card. Now we need to plan this a little bit because we need to see where things are going. So we can have him go slightly over to the one side, and then I want my balloons over a little bit. Alright, so you'll see that I'm trying to get the balloon so that the strings are coming in towards his tail, and there is a reason for that, which you will see once I'm going. So that looks okay, so kind of keeping them in the same place. Let's stick them down. Right, now this is probably the most complicated part of the card, is getting the strings to come together. So, yep, that'll work. So what I do is I pull them in to where I want them, and then I'm gonna put a drop of Tombow just to hold them all together where I want them. We'll let that dry for a couple of minutes. And oh, I clearly stamped the back on that one before I used it. The good thing about paper, it has two sides and you don't see the back once it's stuck. So putting some dimensionals on there. Now he is small and skinny and I want some dimensionals behind his feet. I'll probably put some on his ears there, and I definitely want on his tail. So I'm going to do that over here. So I'm cutting up some of my sides of the dimensional so that it's giving me some really little skinny pieces, and I'm going to stick those onto these little skinny bits of paper. And maybe we need one more on that last little leg. Okay, I think he's as dimensional as I'm going to get him. So, peeling those off. Right, so I'm going to stick him so that he's standing on the ground, but all these balloon strings, which have just shifted, are coming together behind his tail. Okay. And I'm going to trim the twine here so that I really want them to, you'll see what I'm trying to get to now. We want those strings coming together. Right, now I'm going to stamp a little sentiment, well, very little sentiment as in one word. So I'm using this Well Said stamp set that's in my stamp stash. You can use whatever you like. If you've got a Valentine's one, we could put Happy Valentine's Day. I've done it this way where I've put everything else first so that I can see where I want that sentiment to stamp. So I'm going to put the U. There's a good space for it. Then I've gone ahead and I've tied some tiny little bows from the same twine, and we're going to put bows onto the balloons. I realize that for my happy here I haven't put the bows on there, so I'll have to go back and do those, tie some more little bows. So I'm sticking these on with glue dots. Now this twine is quite thin, so I'm going to put a glue dot onto there and then fold it over onto itself so that it's sort of a half size glue dot, and then we'll stick bows on our balloons. behind his ear. And then my last bow, I'm going to stick on his tail. So the effect that I'm trying to get here is that the balloons are tied around his tail, and that was why I was so concerned about getting the strings to come in to behind his tail. That's our Valentine's card. Here's the other one, which I said I was keeping. This one is in the Magenta Madness, and you can see when I punched those ones, it was slightly higher, that it was going more into the Blackberry Bliss part of the glimmer paper. There's 4 cards that I've done using those stamp sets, the glimmer paper, and the additional one, which I've actually used on all 3 of them, was this Well Said stamp set. So we've got welcome, we've got you, there's birthday, there's congratulations, there's lots of things. If you only wanted 3 balloons, you could have new, baby, any combination, anything that you can think of, you're going to be able to make using this combination of stamp sets. Now, with the 3 products, the glimmer paper, playful alphabet dies, and the balloon duet punch, although we've got different prices, it's going to get you to your Sale-A-Bration reward in whatever market you're in, so that you can get those donkeys. If you like it, put in your order the 5th of January, get the donkeys. I think that they're going to be extremely popular this year. If you like my video, please subscribe to my channel and you'll be informed every time a new video goes up. Have fun. See you next time. Bye.